Alright, hello and welcome everyone to the actual first altered video I've put out on the channel. Normally I do Digimon content and some Magic content, so please ignore the Digimon mats. I just have not gotten around to picking up an altered playmat yet. It's in the works, but a hero that I've been really wanting to play is Gulrang and Toscan. I like the defensive nature of it that it kind of gives, while still at certain points being a little bit more offensive. It feels like a very good mid-range hero, but it didn't feel very good in set 1. Set 2, though, it feels really fun to play, really good to play, and a lot better. So I'm just going to get into it real quick. For those who may be new to Altered, or just need a refresher because maybe they've never seen Gulrang. Gulrang says when you create a token character, it gains 1 boost. And then if you have less than 8 mana orbs, boosted tokens you control have Defender. So that is both simultaneous defensive and offensive nature, but it can hurt you in the early games. Let's get into the list though, we can talk about some different things. So with what I'm doing, I'm actually kind of leaning more into the defender aspect. Yes, there's still token making and everything because this is Ordis. It's the faction that makes tokens. But to start it off, just 2 Monolith Archivist. Defender, 3/3/3 for teal. Fairly decent stats early on, and with a few of the new cards, the Defender doesn't really hurt that much. And then going into 3 Paper Herald. Just a heads up real quick, I'm going to be listing off the older cards before the newer cards. So yeah, just 3 Paper Herald, 1 cost from hand, 1 cost from reserve, 0/0/1. It's not going to really win you much of anything, but it can be used for that quick effect to make a token, which then gets boosted by Gulrang. So it can help sure up a spot, help win or prevent a spot from being won. And then more token generation, set of Ordis Gatekeeper, 1/3/1, 3 from either spot with the enter from anywhere to make a token in the other expedition. The rare Gatekeeper would also be really good, but because of some of the rares I'm playing, couldn't really find the room. The common is still very good for the deck. And then the last of the set 1 cards, just our Sabotage, or the Spy. The 2/2/2 from hand Sabotage, it does so much that you need it to do, because there's just pesky cards that go to the reserve and you don't want to see them. Alright, now for our new characters in the common slots. I'm testing out currently 2 Ordis Overseer. Just the 2 costs from either zone with the 1/1/2. If the expedition it is going into is behind, create an Ordis recruit in its expedition, as well as the quick effect to make a token. So depending on where you're at in the game, it can help be defensive or start to push the expedition to victory. And then last of the common characters, a full set of Elmon. It's a big bear. What can I say? It is a very big bear. Unless you have 8 or more mana orbs, it has Defender, which again, Defender doesn't necessarily hurt in this deck, but 6/6/6 all across the board for 4 feels really good. Alright, now for the common spells, real quick. 2 Teamwork Training. Still making tokens, so the Teamwork Training can come up. The issue that I've primarily had with Teamwork Training is the reliance on bodies, but it is still a very good source of removal. And then I'm trying out a full set of Field Reinforcement. Sometimes you can make a token to win a spot or block a spot, or sometimes you just need to draw a card and cycle something out in the case of, you know, A2 draw a card. Not as good as Magical Training, but we're testing it out and it doesn't feel too bad. And then for permanents, in the common slot, 3 Ordis Carrier. It does what you want it to do. It's going to make you a token every turn. Your command zone, or not your command zone, that's a different game entirely, your companion zone, which will then proceed to either win, add to those stats, make it more difficult, however you hopefully are having a time with it. Now, I'm also not playing any uniques in the deck because I haven't ran into any uniques that I like for the build yet. So we're just going to finish this quick profile off with 15 rares before looking at just a little bit of a shuffle and then a game. But to start it off, to Anubis. I just like Anubis. The getting around tough via sacrifice. You've got different ways to make tokens and everything, so having like a carrier into Anubis, deal with like a Hydrocana or something that's just big and eternal and it's the only one there is great. But yeah, Anubis does not feel bad in this deck, and it is just, I'll be honest, a pet card. And then Ratatosk. Ratatosk is Ratatosk. It does a very, very lot for the deck. It's an early turn play that you can have in reserve for later. It synergizes very well with a card that's going to be coming up soon. I think everybody's figured out what that card is. Plus late game, if it's in reserve and you've already hit your 8 mana, I mean, that then turns into 5 into a zone for the cost of 3. Alright, and then the last of the rare characters and new one, Sunisa, dedicated ensign. Defender, if my expedition is behind, defender characters don't prevent it from moving forward. That is going to be on the rare or the common, but the rare also has the create an Ortis recruit in target expedition. So it could turn the expedition that it's going into a 5 for 3 again. If you're behind, you loot. The defender won't matter, so even if you're not at 8 mana, your token won't exactly hurt you. It feels really good. It is a card that I would say don't mana, unless you have something so much more important. Sunisa is one of the important cards I feel like of the deck. Then one, Open the Gates, because late game it can very well assure up a spot on its own with the 5 cost, make 4 tokens, which would normally be, you know, combination of just 4/4/4, but because of Gulrang, that's 5 costs, make 8 or 8 total worth in every region. So as one, feels okay. All right, now for some new cards, and that is Geyser. I'm testing out Geyser. I like it because it may not be like true hard removal since it's a bounce spell, but it's ramp at the same time. So it can remove something that's problematic in the moment, possibly prevent a expedition from moving forward for your opponent, and then at the same time ramp because Gulrang needs to hit 8, Belmont needs to be at 8. So Geyser does not feel bad in the deck. And then the last of the rares, and probably the most important card in the deck, is legitimately Mobile Armory. Mobile Armory comes in, makes a token, which immediately becomes a 2/2/2, and it stops your defender characters from preventing your expedition from moving forward for the cost of 1. So if it's in hand, you never have to play it early. You can wait until, like, alright, cool, I have 1 mana left. I'm just going to go ahead and slap this down in whatever expedition I want, and just have that, yeah, my defender didn't matter after all. But yeah, I do feel that Mobile Armory is the most important card in the deck. So if you're in a position with Mobile Armory, do not mana it. You want to have your sets, or at minimum 2. But let's see what a quick shuffle looks like, and then after that we'll get into a game. Alright, so normally I like doing some test shuffles, showing how things can flow and work with different decks. Unfortunately, Altered is a little bit harder to do that with. given the back and forth nature of turns being done at the same time of the game, but it's still possible. I just want to show a quick couple shuffles of cards to look for to keep, cards that you don't want to mana, cards that are safe to mana, at least from what I feel with Gulrang. Because I'm really enjoying this new version of Gulrang, as it were. Having the support that Trial by Frost gave was such a good boon for the deck. Alright. So we do the shuffly stuff, let our opponent cut if they would like to cut. So we're gonna hit Mobile Armory, that never mana your Mobile Armory. Field Reinforcements, Ratatosk, Teamwork Training, 1, 2, 3, 4. Carrier and Geyser. This is actually a really hard hand to decide what to keep. Geyser ramps and gives you removal at the same time. Well, soft removal, but it's primarily there for the ramp. Ratatosk is going to give you future tokens, but we do run 3, so this is probably a safe bet to mana Ratatosk now. And then we have the Mobile Armory. So if I was to be deciding at this point, I would be keeping these 3 and putting Field Reinforcement, Teamwork Training, and Ratatosk to my mana. We didn't figure out who would have been going first, so let's see. We got 8. Opponent gets a 3, so we start, which is actually pretty good. So we can just immediately fire this off. We're gonna give up some stuff. Opponent will get to do their thing. We'll draw another Field Reinforcement and another Field Reinforcement. Unfortunately, that means that we're going to be playing on some back foot a little bit later. But opponent's going to be starting. They would get to do their thing. Let's say they play one big thing, hopefully. Or it doesn't really matter. We take care of the first thing just so we can get some ramp going and hope that's enough. Especially since we have this spot anyways with a body. Let's not forget our at noon effect, which would also get that boost. We get turn player again, and we're actually starting to see some pretty good payoffs now. But yeah, that is Gulrang. But we have Board Game Arena. Let's see a couple games in action. Okay, so for this, I do have some help, testing and everything else. We'll see how long this video ends up being after we're done. But for now, we're just going to be doing this with the camera off just so we can get all of that gameplay mostly. Oh damn. Well, we can safely mana these 2. And then we have some things we can do. I think I want to hold on to Ratatosk, Carrier, Anubis. Just a note, we play 3-3-2, so giving up 1 here and then still having the others is pretty fine. And I mean, we have the turn 1 carriers, so we're just gonna make this a quick day 1. That's not bad at all, actually. Give up the Ratatosk here. We do play 3, so it is fairly safe. And then we're gonna go ahead and put our Gatekeeper over here. We'll actually pass. It sucks on not getting that card draw, but it is what it is, you know. So we can do this in one of two different ways. We can either shore up this side and lose this side, give up this side, gain this side. We're just gonna go ahead and take the companion side early. Which probably, in hindsight, like real quick hindsight, that probably was a bad idea, since Rin here is about to draw a card and put a card into reserve. But I mean, we were able to make 6 power in one spot on turn 2. I don't typically like giving these up because they're just that important. At least I feel that they are. But I've already given up one, so I kind of got to give up here. Also, while we're waiting for Gilgamesh to make her returns and everything, everybody leave a comment for her saying hi. Gonna pass on that again. That is actually pretty nice to see. We're gonna take a second. It's not gonna be a long second though. So we're at 353 to 573, 587. We're gonna get our second armory into rotation over here. Now we could have put the armory over here for both of them. Give up this spot to have Sunisa online there. Okay, we're not gonna give them up this time. So we'll mana here with one of the 2-ofs. So over here on the hero side, we'll finally play a Ratatosk. It's gonna be met with that, and then over here we'll play the Armory. There's no reason for us to give up any more resources. These taigas can be very deadly though. We're gonna go ahead and mana here. But now we actually have ourselves in a very awkward spot. That came with running out one too many armories. So, what can we do here? Or what do we want to do here? Is the better question. Just gonna actually pass. Alright. So we mana here, and now we actually start to do some interesting things. So since we're now at 8 mana, our tokens no longer have the defender hindrance. And we're gonna go all in over here. All right, and then we're tapped out, so we're passing. Seeing actually kind of a funny interaction between almost seeing a funny interaction between these two, the meter and magic beans. And then 2 of the winter outfits are in rotation now. Okay. Let's count real quick. 4, 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Alright, so we actually have a safe window to do this now then. This is legitimately the reason why I still run 2 Anubis. I really like Anubis because being able to trade a token for a big old body like a Hydrocana, a Demeter, something like that can be really good. Alright, so we're pretty much not getting this side, are we? Could we... If we fire this off, that would be 8, which would tie it up, but then we're fully tapped. And we will make the token on this side. Whoops. I forgot about that. Gigantic is a thing, isn't it? Yeah, we'll just pass. No reason to give up more resources. Especially since there's 2 anchored dragons. Winter Outfits is a help card for gigantic things like Son of Yggdrasil. Alright, so we're actually going to discard there. The value of Anubis is again just way too much. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Have we got a few different things we can do then? It's just a little too late, but we're gonna go ahead and give that up. Alright, and yeah, we're gonna go ahead and snipe this gigantic. I'm also gonna wonder how I got the spy to be transparent, but there were definitely multiple points here where I punted. I don't think some of the choices of my mana really hurt all that much, except for that one in particular. Yeah, we are definitely not getting this one. Because we can win this one, but it doesn't matter. This one is lost. And I mean, that's just legitimately the power of Muna. Poor showing for the deck, very clearly. We pass, we lose, no biggie. Cards in retrospect that I would have liked to have kept, but I ended up choosing 2 mana if it would keep it up there for me, is Anubis. Anubis for sure. The teamwork training, I don't think these 3 hurt all that much. I really do think it was mostly the Anubis not having that additional way to just hard remove something. But yeah, that is the deck. In action, I got to show what it does and a very poor showing of it at that. But if you like the content, if you like the video, please leave a like. If you dislike it, leave a dislike. Any and all interaction I am going to take because it pushes the algorithm further for me. So thank you with that. Dislikes, likes are appreciated. Comments are appreciated, like I said. If you've got some tips for a Gulrang build, leave them in the comments down below. I'd love to see them. If you want to come hang out over on Twitch, I will say that I don't do nearly as much altered stuff on there, but I just really enjoy the game and wanted to push out a video for it. I mostly do RPG and variety content over on Twitch with some TCGs and everything, but thank you guys for making it this far. I appreciate it. Take care.